Today we will dissect the performance, expose the mechanics, and show you exactly how a professional medium can produce an undeniable hit every single time without ever having to dial the afterlife.
Please subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and give a warm YouTube welcome to psychic medium extraordinaire, the Creaky Blinder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I connect with the energies around us, I'm drawn to somebody in the audience watching this now who's been facing some challenges recently. It's been a time of change and uncertainty for you, hasn't it? I sense that these changes are related to personal growth or perhaps a transition in your career or relationships. You've been seeking clarity and direction, looking for a sign to guide you on your path. Oh, now I'm feeling a presence, a strong presence of a protective figure in your life. This could be somebody who's passed or somebody who's very much alive, but their influence on you is significant. They want you to know that you're not alone and that they're watching over you, offering strength and support. You've been holding on to something, a question or a decision that's been weighing heavily on your heart, and it's time for you to let go of the fear and embrace the opportunities which are coming your way. The universe is aligning, bringing positive changes into your life, but it requires that you take the first step with courage and faith. I'm also sensing a connection to the number 3. Now, this could mean something is happening in 3 days, 3 weeks, or on the 3rd of the month. So keep an eye out for the signs or messages around that time, as they could be pivotal in guiding you towards your next steps. And remember, you have the strength and wisdom within you to navigate this. Trust yourself, and the pieces will fall into place as they're meant to. But here's a question for you. Why are the spirits only speaking in vague generalizations? And why are they charging $5.4 billion a year to deliver those messages?
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe.
The foundation of the entire psychic industry has nothing to do with connecting to the other side or unlocking some mystical power within. It's a very human, very predictable mental malfunction called the Barnum Effect.
So, first and foremost, there's no fire connection to you? Nobody in a fire, correct? Okay.
Correct.
So if I go over there in that section, is there some type of fire story in that back section over there?
Now, the Barnum Effect describes your brain's tendency to accept vague general statements as profoundly personal and uniquely tailored to you. Think of it like an in-depth horoscope. A truly scientific theory has to be falsifiable. It has to be possible to prove it wrong. Barnum statements are engineered to be unfalsifiable. You'll experience change in your life. Is that a prediction or just a Tuesday?
Over here. Now, what's your name? Oh, don't tell me. It's Sonia. Sonia. Now, Sonia, love, you've not been very well, have you, love? Am I right?
The moment the medium lands one of these generalities, they've got you. You think, wow, they totally get me. And once that trust is established, you, the audience member, become the medium's best friend and most cooperative assistant.
Thank you.
Now, let's get into the toolkit, because the entire show relies on 3 core, repeatable techniques that allow the medium to harvest your pain for profit.
Right. Now, bear with me and forgive me if it's when I started it's either one, but I'm aware of an energy of a lovely lady who found herself, when she was in the physical, in her life, she ended up, I feel, with not being able to maintain her balance and her walking because of restrictions linked with the joints. Would you understand any of this, please? Because her energy is close by here, and it's as if she wants to claim both of you, so to speak, okay?
The first tool is cold reading. It's the art of starting with zero knowledge and building a seemingly impossible narrative purely through observation, linguistics, and high probability guesses.
Hold on.
I'm sensing something psychic. Ma'am, did you have a female relative who's passed on to the other side named,
Polly?
Polly! I said it first!
A skilled cold reader can get a ton of information just by looking at you, your clothes, your age, your body language, how you react to being addressed by them. It's a two-way conversation where the media makes educated guesses and you, the target, do the fact-checking. The main code reading method is called phishing. They drop a broad statement disguised as a question to see if you bite. They might say something like, oh, I sense a J name, a father figure. He had trouble with his chest, maybe shortness of breath. Well, that perfectly describes my own father. To the letter. And if you don't respond, they quickly redirect. They spin the failure into a win.
So it's never I'm wrong. It's simply that now you have to go and investigate that because we've got to find out more information about it.
But is there another Mary or Marie deceased or middle name like this from your husband's side? No. Okay, I think there may be. But anyway.
Then there's the beautiful, cynical linguistic trick. The medium says something that attributes a quality and its opposite to you simultaneously, guaranteeing validation. Something like you're generally very reserved and cautious, but when you're passionate about something, you can be totally outgoing and the life of the party. Congratulations, you've just described 100% of the population. But cold reading takes time and finesse. What if you're a big-time stadium-filling celebrity medium? You can't fish with an audience of thousands. You need a cheat code. And these are called hot readings, which basically means getting specific information before the show begins. Now, historically, this was done with espionage, but today, social media. Give a medium your name and location, and that's enough to find public obituaries, Instagram memorial posts, or even Facebook comments mentioning a favourite pet or a specific nickname for the deceased person.
Don't really want to get into it, but I'm fine.
Cold reading is skillful guesswork. Hot reading is premeditated fraud.
Always know when you talk to a family member, when you start a case, you'll know if this person is dead or alive. Every time.
Yes.
Does this girl look familiar to you?
Yes, she does. I worked this case.
This is a girl who you said was beaten and killed.
Okay.
This little girl is me. And you told somebody that she's dead.
Wait a minute. You didn't disappear?
I'm right here.
It allows them to bypass the chest pain, maybe a J name. I'm sensing your great Aunt Susan. She keeps mentioning pugs. She says she misses the way that you used to sing that Elvis song. Now, the genius of the operation isn't the trick itself. It's what you, the subject, do next. You only search for, interpret, and recall information that confirms your existing belief that the medium is real, that your loved one is actually present. They throw out 20 guesses, 1 hit, 19 miss, but you instantaneously discard the 19 misses. The 1 hit, well, it becomes proof of their gift. And the memory actually gets more accurate in your mind over time. And this is why they tell you that the reading relies on you being open and relaxed. They are demanding complicity. If the connection fails, they blame you for being closed off, not their lack of talent.
I'm not quite sure, but I think it was one of our relatives.
One of the relatives?
Down there.
Okay, someone's trying to remind me to go to that area.
Right.
Okay, remember, okay?
It's a beautifully crafted psychological trick, impervious to failure. So, we know the how, now for the why. Why hasn't this scam died? Because the history of psychic fraud is just as long as the history of human grief itself.
Tell me right now, what's in the envelope?
I find you an ideological bigot. That's what I find.
What's in the envelope
you
right
claim.
Now. Tell me what's in the
Okay,
envelope.
let's rewind to 1848, the birth of modern spiritualism. and two sisters named Margaret and Kate Fox. Now, they claimed they could communicate with spirits through mysterious knocking in their upstate New York home, and this was the start of the spiritualist boom, and for decades the illusion was flawless, until 1888, when Margaret Fox publicly confessed that the famous raps were created by dislocating and snapping the joints in her toes. It was a full-blown hoax admitted by the founders. And the debunkers weren't just journalists, they were magicians, the original experts in deception. Harry Houdini, the legendary escape artist, spent the last years of his career and life exposing mediums because he knew that their supposed miracles were just cheap staged tricks. Fast forward to the modern era, where the ultimate challenge was issued by skeptic James Randi.
He said, "Why don't you put your money where your mouth is?" And I said, "Okay, all right, I'll give $100 to any of these psychics who say they..." Now, this is 1968. That was a lot more money at that time. I don't know that I had $100, but I hope I did, because I'd hate to be dishonest. You know how I would never deceive anybody.
Now, the prize went to anyone, absolutely anyone, who could demonstrate paranormal ability under agreed upon scientific conditions. And for over 50 years and more than 1,000 applications, the total number of successful claimants? 0.
Wow, you're really going to go out for $100? I made it $1,000. I didn't always have that $1,000. Then I eventually made it $10,000, and I made sure from that point on it was getting serious. I always made sure I had the $10,000 in the bank. That grew over the years until Lexington Broadcasting Syndication, they offered me a show that they wanted to call a $100,000 psychic prize. And I put in my $10,000, they put in $90,000. And so it was $100,000. Then it became $1 million when people started to remind me, maybe $100,000 isn't all that attractive. And I thought, well, sorry, that's all we can manage. You know, $100,000, I only had $10,000 for that. No, we've got to expand it somehow. Then a gentleman, a very obviously wealthy gentleman, came to me and he said, "You should have more teeth to your challenge." And he said, "I'll give you $1 million. I thought about that for 20 seconds. And I agreed that would be a good idea. Gave us a check for $1 million. We deposited it in an interest-bearing account with Goldman Sachs. And the provision was that it was called the James Randi James Randi Educational Foundation Challenge Fund. And it was stuck in there, and we can't use it for anything. We can take the interest off the top of it every year if we want, but we can't use it for anything except to award to a psychic who wins it."
Controlled studies on mediums consistently show results entirely consistent with the operation of chance alone. And when confronted with failure, the medium's response is always the same. They don't update their methods, they attack the test.
He works a lot with the producers of these shows, like 48 Hours, who edit out everything to slanted, because I had many hits. And I also said, "Who is John?" John, that was the lady's husband. He goes, "Well, everyone knows a John."
No, let me make a correction on that, Mr. Van Praag. Let me make a correction. You came up with 27 names, one of which was John. And when I mentioned to the people, the producers of that program, that you came up with 26 names that were not John, they cut that out of the piece that they broadcast. So let's get the facts straight.
And this brings us to the core of the ethical problem. The burden of proof. Communicating with the dead is an extraordinary claim. And what do extraordinary claims require? That's right, extraordinary evidence. Mediums refuse to provide that evidence, though, then claim skepticism is the barrier. The whole enterprise is predatory. They are specifically vultures, swooping in on the grieving, the elderly, and the emotionally vulnerable who are desperate for closure. The cost isn't just the ticket price, it's the 175 million stolen in one massive psychic mass mailing scheme targeting elderly victims. It's the $2 million stolen by a psychic life coach who convinced their clients that money was cursing them and that she needed to bury it to cleanse herself. And it's the psychological harm, the delayed grief, the catastrophic life decisions made made based on what a spirit supposedly advised. Now, while some find short-term comfort, that comfort is sold via a knowing lie. And trading on human pain is the definition of exploitation. Right, I've got a question for the clairvoyant or psychic medium community, and I'll keep it simple, because to be honest, the whole scam needs a dose of brutal reality. If you can truly see the future, if you possess some mystical insight into the fabric of time and destiny, why on earth are you sitting in cramped, musty strip mall offices telling Brenda her deceased goldfish Sparky is happy swimming in the great fishbowl in the sky? Why aren't you, I don't know, giving me the winning lottery numbers for this Friday's Euro Millions? Or better yet, offering precise, actionable stock market tips that would make us both billionaires by next Tuesday? Spirit world, what a convenient, unverifiable construct. Seems remarkably adept at providing vague platitudes, comforting ambiguities, and emotionally manipulative reassurances. They're masters of generic, your loved one is at peace, or your loved one is watching over you. But when it comes to verifiable information, you know, something concrete, something that could actually tangibly improve a person's life beyond a fleeting moment of manufactured comfort, they are completely, utterly, and frustratingly useless. Now today, I've tried to not just scratch the surface, but take a deeper, more skeptical dive with both feet and a bulldozer. It just really, it winds me up that the murky, morally bankrupt world of the low-life grifters who weaponize grief for profit are making so much money doing it. We're talking about the charlatans, the con artists, the emotional vampires who prey on the vulnerable, the heartbroken, and the desperate. And let me be crystal clear here. If you were truly talking to the dead, if you're genuinely communicating with the beyond, why the hell are you still charging the living for the privilege? Why are you not a philanthropic saint, sharing your extraordinary gift for the betterment of humanity rather than selling your readings at 50 quid a pop? Oh, I can't stand these people. So, what's the takeaway? The power isn't theirs, it's yours. The power to turn a vague statement into a personal truth is your brain's confirmation bias hard at work. The miracle is your mind's ability to desperately seek connection. You don't need a glittery shawl or a 1-900 number to process loss. You need community, empathy, and truth. Skepticism isn't about being cold-hearted, it's about giving yourself the tools to distinguish genuine support from calculated coercion. The psychic medium industry will persist because the fear of death and the ache of grief are universal. But now you know the playbook, you know the cost, and you know with absolute certainty that if the spirits are only speaking in Barnum statements, they're not calling from the great beyond. They're calling from a meticulously researched database.
Out of everything that's on the internet, this is the best thing.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever